File servers have always been a curious paradox for the IT professional in charge of managing them. On one hand, you're the person responsible for the file server, and so it's your mission to make sure that it works. It's your mission to make sure that the unnecessary stuff isn't on there, perhaps clogging up things or taking up space that could be better used for corporate projects and actually useful things. On the other side are the users who see a vast openness of available space with which to store, in many cases, anything they want. Adding to this complexity is the fact that the users aren't typically tasked with managing their own space. And so your job is to manage the space, but you have no idea what the content is or whether it's useful or not. They're not in charge of managing the space, but they know what's important to them and important to the company. It's because of this paradox that solutions like FSRM exist. The File Services Resource Manager is a tool that I've mentioned a number of times now as kind of the unsung hero for solving this problem about what kinds of content should and should not be on a machine. What's particularly great about FSRM is that it's a really easy solution to use. And when you start to poke around into the things that you can do on a file-by-file basis, I think you'll appreciate that just simply installing the FSRM role service, the very first task that we have to do here, is something you're probably going to want to do. Now here in this module, after we install the role service, which is a remarkably simple install, it's perhaps one of the least exciting installs in existence, we will go through the configuration of 4 of the 5 major tasks that FSRM can support. The first is quotas, so setting up a quota for a particular folder or a series of subfolders. Setting up quotas defines a maximum amount of space that that folder can occupy, and by turning them on, particularly in special use cases, you can help prevent users from over-consuming the amount of storage space that you have. Also, in addition to quotas, we have file screens, which are a mechanism to ensure that certain types of files just don't make their way onto your servers. If you know that you've got users that are just throwing MP3 files onto a machine, up onto your server somewhere, burning up all the available disk space, well, you can use file screens as a mechanism not only to prevent their upload, but even to notify you when a person does attempt to accomplish that task. We'll also talk about reports, which are a way to essentially tell you about the activities going on a file server. And the last one down here, which is file management tasks, which I'll show you a very small use case that you can use it for, but you'll learn more about file management tasks as you get into the 412 content, where you start talking about some of the more advanced utilizations of FSRM. I mentioned that we will be discussing 4 of the 5 total tasks that FSRM can accomplish, the 5th of which is file classification, which is part of the file classification infrastructure service that we will also talk about as you get further on into that 412 exam and content.